And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
First flying weather graphic for 4 a.m. Wednesday morning, showing solid IFR for the Bering Sea and the Aleutians here right up to the coastline and northward into the Chukchi Sea and then eastward there along the Arctic coast. North Slope, Brooks Range into the interior, VFR right on down to the eastern North Gulf Coast. Marginal VFR, Prince William Sound. Areas of possible IFR here across the interior. And some IFR sliding up into the southern southeast coast. Then that burns back to mostly VFR for the Panhandle for the afternoon Wednesday. And also here, good VFR in the Gulf of Alaska. Right on up to the North Slope, then you hit the IFR there out toward the Arctic coast. IFR, most of the Bering Sea, although pulling back to just west of Nunivak Island there, but still covering St. Lawrence Island and the Pribilofs, and the eastern Aleutians going from IFR to marginal VFR. For the morning hours, pretty much IFR for the Bering Sea and the Aleutians into the western Alaska Peninsula. And mostly marginal VFR here along the coastline, but just inland a little ways and you're into the VFR covering all of mainland Alaska here into the Gulf and the North Gulf Coast there, including Kodiak Island. Marginal VFR to start for the Panhandle. And then the northern areas burn off to VFR for the afternoon on Thursday there, while the southern southeast coast stays marginal. And good VFR here, again, Kodiak Island, right on up to the North Slope and to the eastern Arctic coast. A little bit of lower condition on the west side. And just IFR for the Bering Sea and the Aleutians and the south side of the Alaska Peninsula. Passes for the Brooks Range again. Anatuvik and Adigan tomorrow afternoon looking really good with VFR flying through both passes. Lake Clark and Merrill looking pretty good tomorrow as well with VFR in the afternoon. Same forecast for rainy, windy, Isabel, Mentasta, all forecast to be VFR and open on either entrance. Tanita, the same forecast there, VFR. Portage, starting out lower conditions early on, becoming VFR. And for Chilkoot and White, just VFR. Moving on to the freezing levels. And you'll see, again, upper high pressure here in the warm air aloft, 10,000 feet over the interior areas, sloping back down to not too low, 6,000 to 8,000 feet here over the Gulf of Alaska into the southeast coast. And some chillier air back way out here to the west and northwest. And for the icing, with the moisture coming into the Bering Sea here, considerable moderate rime icing below 16,000, 17,000 feet here down to the central Aleutians. Otherwise, nothing of any significance over the mainland areas from the Arctic coast to the Gulf here. Could be some isolated moderate rime icing or mixed icing there for portions of the southeast coast. And for the jet stream, we've got easterly winds here across the Panhandle at 60 knots with the 33,000 foot low pressure area there west-southwest of the Queen Charlotte Islands. Upper high pressure here from the Northwest Territories into the northern interior, and then kind of back down like that a little bit. So that's either keeping the stronger jet down to the south there. We've got southwest winds at about 65 knots here coming up across the west central and northwest Bering Sea. 9,000 feet, a little bit stronger winds here showing up out of the southeast due to this low here south of the Shimiatu area, about 60 knots, turning south-southwest 45 knots and really falling off in the central Bering Sea, but 35 knot winds on up across the Bering Strait to Cape Lisburne and Point Hope. Light winds over all of the interior from the Arctic coast southward, and then a narrow band of east-northeasterlies at about 35 knots over the northern southeast coast. At 3,000 feet, light variable winds here, Panhandle, Gulf of Alaska, all of the interior, and the most of the Bering Sea as well. We have the strongest winds down here up toward the central Aleutians, anywhere from, actually the 60 knot winds staying to the south, otherwise about 30 to 40 knots for the western central Aleutian areas. And that's about the only place to look for any significant turbulence there would be Adak and Atka. Considerable moderate turbulence possible there. Surface to about 6,000 feet. Nothing significant anywhere else.